One of the most important parts of the sales process is no doubt the ability to create a quote for your prospect or customer. This is where Mothernode excels because no other SaaS CRM delivers a built-in quoting system of this caliber. Its elegant interface, simplified use, and feature-rich capabilities raise the bar when it comes to creating pricing proposals for your customers and opportunities. This presentation will give you a general overview of how you can use some of the unique features to build powerful quotes in minutes. Quotes can be accessed and created 3 different ways. You can create quotes from within an opportunity. In fact, you can create as many quotes as you want for an opportunity in the event that different pricing or product options are being presented to a customer. A couple of quick notes. If the quote exists, the record will automatically convert to an opportunity because naturally, if you're at the quoting stage, the prospect is now an opportunity. If you convert the opportunity to a customer, the quote will also be available in the customer's quote history. You can create a quote when working within a customer profile, which is one of the more common ways to work when interacting with existing customers. In fact, you can create any transaction for a customer within their profile. In the case of quotes, you would click the Transactions tab and select Quote, and then you can access a list of their existing quotes or create a new one. And finally, you can create a quote from the Quote module. The Quote module is where you can access all of your quotes in Mothernode. When you create a quote, the data from the source you started from is used to populate the quote header. So if you started from an opportunity, the information in your opportunity will be used to populate the quote header. If you started from a customer, the information for that customer along with their preferences are used to complete the quote header. The more information you have in your customer or opportunity profile, the less information you'll be entering when creating your quote. The top section of the quote includes the customer name, revision date and number of the quote, and the date the quote is valid until. Note, if you want to, you can change the customer by clicking Change next to the customer name. This is an ideal feature when you want to reuse an existing quote made for a similar customer. Just duplicate the quote and change the customer. The next section contains the same total breakdowns you see in the quote list. These numbers are a summation of breakdowns in the quote line items that help you track various costs within the quote itself. Below that, we have a list of tabs spanning left to right that contain important components of the quote. We'll review each one of these and begin with the quote header. The left quadrant of the quote is the customer's billing and shipping information. You can assign a contact to both the shipping and billing tabs. You can select from the customer's contacts or enter in a contact manually. If you don't assign a contact to the billing address, accounts payable will be used as the default contact when the invoice is generated. Invoices are available in Mothernode ERP. The quote headers contain the specific information about the quote, in short, who it's prepared for, and the general terms and criteria assigned to it. Like the addresses, most of the information in the quote header is populated from either the customer profile or the opportunity, depending on which record the quote was created from. And finally, at the very bottom, users can include additional information by making notes about the quote, customer, or project. These notes are also accessible in the customer profile. Let's go ahead and make a quote for Banana Park. They're one of our customers. The reference field is used to identify the quote, something that comes in handy when providing multiple quotes or options to a customer. It also helps to quickly pick out the quote in a list. The revision date and number help distinguish versions of the quote submitted to the customer. If this is the first quote to a customer, you can leave it empty. The details section of the quote relates to the customer's account management team and assigned values like shipping preferences and lead times and so on. It also includes their market segments so you can track your success rates of the markets you serve. If the quote requires a deposit from the customer, you can track the deposit activity including the check number and the date it was received. And finally, there are some important miscellaneous items that you can track for marketing and sales forecasting, such as the lead source, promotional code, probability of winning the quote, and the estimated invoice date, which will help in revenue forecasting. At the bottom of the quote header, you can record notes to share with other users. For Mothernode ERP users, the notes are passed on to the order and eventually the invoice. When this information is complete, you can save it by clicking the Save button. The Quote Entry tab is where users can add line items to their quotes. As you can see, Mothernode presents these items in a clean, informative list. Your line item actions are at the top of the list and the necessary information is below. The Add Item button is where you begin to add your line items. Mothernode lets users add line items from a variety of sources. Freeform lets you add anything. It's a good option to build a line item from scratch, and is also an alternative to users that don't have access to the inventory module. Service items are predefined services your company offers your customers, from shipping to consulting to support and even training. Inventory is your listing of finished goods or products that you stock, sell, or broker. Order history is the ability to add a line item from an existing order. This is ideal for reorder situations. And PO history lets you add a line item from a PO that was issued to a vendor. Let's review these options in a little more detail. Mothernode's Freeform option is a blank canvas that allows users to add a line item, apply its cost, description, and markup, classify its tax, and tag it as an in-house service, made here, or something that is bought out, made out. As part of your Mothernode setup, you should include the services your company offers. Services are non-tangible line items that you charge for, like rush charges, setup fees, training, etc. They are items that aren't stocked and won't deplete inventory. Adding your service items up front will save you time in the quoting process. Mothernode lets users conveniently add items from their inventory. Items in inventory can be stocked or non-stocked. Companies can add their most common inventory items for quick ordering and quoting. When adding inventory items, you have a variety of search options to quickly find the product you're looking for. You also have the ability to tag items as favorites that can help you create short lists. Default markups are assigned to the cost of your inventory, but you can adjust them accordingly if you like. This option also lets you add more than one item quickly. When creating a quote or order for a customer, Mothernode will first display all of the line items from previous orders for that customer. You can search for a line item they've ordered in the past. This is another area where favorites can come in handy. Note that only line items for processed orders will appear. This is another reason this feature is only available in Mothernode ERP. Just like adding line items from previous orders, you can also add items from previous POs. You can search vendors and products for items that may have been ordered in the past, that aren't in your inventory, and can quickly add them to your quotes. Because purchase orders are not available in Mothernode CRM, this feature is only available for Mothernode ERP users. Now that we see the types of sources that we can access, let's go ahead and add some line items to our quote. In this demonstration, only Freeform and service items are available because both of those are the only options available in the CRM. Let's take a look at some of the advanced options we have in working with our quote. Looking at the quote, to the right of the add item, we see we have some additional options to explore. These features are edit entry, resort, and import. Below each line item, we also see actions, which give us some additional controls. They are add sub-item, edit, duplicate, and remove. If you want to make some quick edits to your quote, click the Edit Entries button and you'll have access to all the fields in your quote to make the necessary ad hoc adjustments. This is beneficial when wanting to edit multiple line items at once. Click Save when you're done. Another helpful feature that makes organizing the line items in your quote easier is the resort option. Click the resort button to rearrange your line items in the list by dragging and dropping them. Save your update arrangement when you're done. You can duplicate a line item, which is a quick way to add another item when you're only making minor adjustments. You can easily edit a line item by clicking the Edit button to make your change. And of course, you can remove the item from your quote by clicking the Remove button. Mothernode gives you the ability to combine items by adding sub-items. The parent item is always the main item in the list, and the items below are options that contribute to the price and makeup of that item. It's sort of like creating a bundle or bill of materials. In this example, we'll add shipping as a sub-item. The result will be the shipping charges will be added to the product's extended price, allowing you to combine the totals. Here's the benefit. When you print the quote, you can choose to display the sub-item in the line item description, or you can hide it altogether. Either way, the total price of the product is the same. It totals both the sub-item and the parent item. Terms and conditions are set up in the administration module. They allow you to author your terms and policies for quotes. In addition, you can determine your default terms that should appear on all new quotes. Most of the time, you won't really need to make adjustments to your T's and C's, but if you need to for special circumstances, you certainly can. In the Terms and Conditions tab, you can see a list of the T's and C's that are applicable to the quote. In new quotes, these are the default T's and C's defined in the admin module. You can add from your existing library of ad hoc conditions as well. You can edit an existing T and C to change the verbiage or expand upon it. Or you can remove a T and C that may not apply to the quote you're making. When we first created our quote, we were requesting a $1,000 deposit from our customer. While this will be printed on the final quote, we will also need to provide the customer with a deposit invoice or sales receipt. We can create this transaction in the Deposit Invoice tab. By default, the value that was added in the quote header deposit field of $1,000 will be used. But we can override that if we want to. We can also have Mothernode add a dollar amount based on the percentage of the order. When the deposit is created, the record appears in the deposit invoice list below. From there, you can print it, edit it, or void it entirely. Now that we have finished preparing our quote, we can print it. We'll conclude this demonstration by reviewing the printing options available in Mothernode. In the top menu, select Print. The print box will open. If your user account is a digital signature on file, then the signature option will also appear. Select the print option you want from the list, and then click Print. All transactions print in a PDF format so you can conveniently share them with other users, or save them to your desktop. The most common option is to print a quote that you'll submit to your customer. You can also submit the same document as an estimate. Estimates communicate a rough initial number to the customer, while a quote is a more final number. A quote request allows you to create a version of the quote that doesn't contain any dollar values. You can use this quote request to send to an external source or third party for pricing. And finally, the pricing worksheet is a printed version of the details that are available on screen, but excluded from the printed quote. Because of the amount of information included, the pricing worksheet is usually used for internal pricing review and not something you would share with a customer. Visit us on the web at www.mothernode.com and register for your free trial for Mothernode CRM today. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest news and updates.